let's talk about the March on Washington. So today is the 57th anniversary of when Martin Luther King Jr. had the "I Have a Dream" speech, iconic speech. And it feels like a lot of these people that have been talking about racial justice have completely forgotten it. Honestly, it just feels like they threw it out the window and let it go and just stopped caring about what he was actually saying, because they are burning down this country. Now let's just walk. I'm just going to say a little bit. The March of Washington, or on Washington, was a massive protest that occurred in August 1963 when some 250,000 people gathered in front of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Also known as the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, the event aimed to draw attention to continuing challenges and inequalities faced by African Americans a century after emancipation. It was also the occasion of Martin Luther King Jr.'s now iconic I have a Dream" speech. And here he is there. Now, man, this is a picture of what they showed up. There was a lot of people there today. I don't know the exact numbers, but I was watching the live stream of it when Reverend Al Sharpton was speaking. I gotta say, it frustrated me to hear what he was saying. He was constantly spewing the rhetoric of what the lies were of all these, police acts of violence, when that's not what's happening. This is not the truth. He kept saying, we will not let them have our knee on our necks. Like, they're the only ones. It's like, yeah, there was a white guy that was killed last year with a knee on his neck. And then it turned out George Floyd died from fentanyl overdose. So, the narratives are twisting, and he's literally just shouting racial inequality. We are not equal. And it's like, yes, we are. We're all equals. I believe it. I believe all of us are equal. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. If you don't think you're equal, I feel like you're the one spreading that message, Reverend. And that is, it's terrible. And and he was basically calling for violence without calling for violence. And it's ridiculous. When Martin Luther King, this is from the Hill, this is the March on Washington, a legacy lost. I'm just going to read a little bit about this. On the anniversary of the March on Washington, I am sure that a host of speakers who see themselves as the next generation of civil rights leaders and claim the mantle and moral authority of Martin Luther King Jr. Will be jostling for their time in the spotlight. Tragically, little remains of the legacy of King and other civil rights leaders who were dedicated to the pursuit of justice through non-violent means. Non-violent. King led a movement that sought inclusion by insisting that America live up to its promise of freedom and justice for all. No other single person, perhaps, suffered more for the cause of justice than King. And his life was a witness to the power of redemption, as he declared in his Nobel Peace Acceptance speech. Now I'm going to read this. This is from his speech. Violence, as a way of achieving racial justice, is both impractical and immoral. I am not unmindful of the fact that violence often brings up momentary results. Nations have frequently won their independence in battle, but in spite of temporary victories, violence never brings permanent peace. It solves no social problem. It merely creates new and more complicated ones. Violence is impractical because it is a descending spiral ending in destruction for all. It is immoral because it seeks to humiliate the opponent rather than win his understanding. It seeks to annihilate rather than convert. Now let those words sink in a little. He nailed it. This is one of the most important civil rights, if not the most important civil rights humans that I've ever known, maybe of all time, because we all are created equal, as he just said. That's what America is. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, what we've been through, what the African American community has been through, they have earned the right to be equal, and we are. They fought. He has specifically said here, and this is something that I've been saying for a while now, as soon as you go violent, your message is lost. And as he says here, it says it is immoral because it seeks to humiliate the opponent. That's what people are doing nowadays. They're trying to humiliate you if you don't believe what they believe. And rather than win his understanding, it seeks to annihilate rather than convert. You're not going to get anybody to listen to you if you're just violent, if you're just beating them up, if you're burning down buildings. That is Martin Luther King. If you're out there violently attacking things, you need to rethink yourself and learn from this great man who's done a lot, who was for nonviolence. And that's what we need in this world. If you want to make a point, make it, but don't do it in a violent way. He made an impact. He changed the trajectory of everybody's life in America for the best way. It is incredible. We've heard his speech, I Have a Dream. Go listen to that speech again. Because if you listen to that speech and this speech, which is incredible, it's from his Nobel Prize acceptance speech. He specifically calls out violence. And it's never going to bring you what you think it's going to. So I implore you, stop being violent. Stop the violence. We got to be together. Everybody just wants to be loved. Everybody wants just to be heard. And we can do it in a nonviolent way. So thank you, Martin Luther King. 57 years ago, you had a dream. And I fully believe that dream is still attainable. So, share that. You look up his actual speech, and because it's incredible. Yeah, this violence is just wearing me down. I really can't stand it.
Yesterday I had this. I was thinking, why am I having this fantasy of coming up, someone attacking me, and me pulling out a gun and blasting them in the head, and it was just this dark, evil, and I'm feeling this. I was feeling this hate yesterday.
Wow.
Why? But not. I'm not feeling it now. But I wanted to tell you, confession. It's what the internet's all about. It's modern day religion.
Well, when you have people, I keep referencing the speech because this is the reason why you're feeling that way, because they're being violent. And I say they, I'm not talking about any specific race. I'm talking about the people that are being violent, period. And it could be any race, but they are being violent, trying to use violence to make you think differently.
That's what's happening.
I know. So you're being met with humiliation, annihilation. They're not coming to you to try to help you understand what they're saying. And that's what Martin Luther King was talking about here. He's saying he says right here, he says, violence is impractical because it's a descending spiral ending in destruction for all. Because violence begets violence. It just makes more people angry. It's converting more people to make it a race war. That's what they're doing.
And it seems like it's a very small minority with a lot of media focus.
You're absolutely right. The media is absolutely to blame. I'm looking at you, media. Every single time you put the color of someone's race before X man does this to X man, it's like that is the problem. We don't need that. A human is a human. A person is a person. That's it. You said this to me the other day. Go ahead. What's the statement? How do we solve racism?
Right. If you want to just refer to me as a man, and I'll refer to you as a man.
Morgan Freeman.
He's so legitimate. Morgan Freeman, Shawshank Redemption, a man on Earth.
Stop referring to the race of people. Stop it, media. You are perpetuating this problem, making it a race war, making it a problem in this country. I grew up, I didn't even think about different races. I had friends of all different colors. They were all cool. There was bullies of all different color. I just thought, oh, they're a bully. I didn't connect it to, if it was a different race, they were targeting me because of my color. I was just thinking, yeah, they're just a-holes that they're just bullies. That tends to be more the case, I feel. I don't think it's a racial thing. I think that the media, we talked about this on Timcast IRL about a month ago, about how around 2012, all of the mainstream media started using these buzzwords, and it was, racial injustice, down with the defund the police. I don't know. The list is plentiful, and there was just all these different graphs of just hockey sticking of the everything just being used over and over because it got the clicks. It got the emotional triggering of all these people that are out there that fell for it, and that's where they got their news. So this must be the case. The world must be getting racist again, or the news media has been gone rampant and just dig deeper and deeper into this hole.
And this coincides with when they were all sort of going bankrupt. A lot of like Vice was losing
Good
money.
point. Yep.
You know, what is it? A lot of these like online publications that were relying on inflated views. BuzzFeed was one of them. The Huffington Post. They started to see a big decline in their value.
Yep, exactly.
And shock and pain is an easy way to get someone to look. You know, it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, that's why the police violence, all those videos of, you know, the very few videos that had, you know, cops beating someone up, which they exist. Bad cops are out there. I'm not trying to deny that. But you got to think, when that's all that they're sharing, that's what people think is the norm. And that is not true. It's insane to think that that's the case.
The bully fight videos. I don't know if you ever watched these on YouTube. You'll be like, bully gets beat up video.
Okay.
And it'll be like the bully like, come on. And he's like picking on this little kid. And then the little kid throws some jujitsu and like, you know, gives him like a suplex and wins the fight. And everyone's like, yeah. And the bully's all messed up. Something I loved seeing the underdog fight back and win. And it's like, violence is not, I know it's not the answer, but I love MMA. I like the art of combat.
Yeah, boxing, MMA, sports, but that's in a structured environment. Two people that have agreed to fight, you know, in with medics on hand, you know, trained fighters, prepared. Street fights could end up someone could die.
But there's even something in like about just a weak person fighting like just not taking it anymore and taking down the bully, and then the bully stops being a bully because they realize I can get hurt if I act like this.
I mean, what is that? It's like public shaming almost, right? I mean,
it is.
So you're, you know, but then again,
it's like an itch.
But that's violence, though. That's going under the assumption that bully will be like, I've learned my lesson. The chances of that happening, though, come on,
right?
You know, that's not going to happen.
That
bully's going to be like, all right, I'm going to go find a smaller person and go pick on them instead.
Interesting.
You know, you're never going to win.
But getting
over the majority of bullies that are out there.
But like getting through to them about their past, maybe letting them know they're loved. It's a longer burn, but it tends to have a more permanent impact on someone's psyche. I think.
I mean, you know, the further down that hole of negativity, the more you get addicted to it. Also, like me and Carlin Borisenko, she was on my show last Saturday, and we were talking about that, how people get addicted to being a victim. Even I'm not even talking about the bullies. We're talking about being in an abusive relationship. Some people just get hooked on that, so they can't even get into a normal relationship because it doesn't feel like love that they're used to getting. So I mean, man, so violence is just, bottom line is, violence is never the answer. I can't stand it. We got to stop the violence. Please stop the violence.
And behavior is addictive, whatever it is. So there's another reason just not to start down that slippery slope and to force yourself into a more kind behavior.
Yeah.